But let's, of course, start with what's happening in this entire controversy that has blown out. It's a clear escalation in the ongoing fight between Harvard University and the American President Donald Trump. The Harvard University has now sued the American administration against its decision to revoke its eligibility to enroll international students for the courses that it offers. Now, the Ivy League University has said that the United States government's action violates the very First Amendment and will have immediate and devastating impact for Harvard and more than 7,000 visa holders. Previously, Harvard had also called this move to be unlawful and had warned that it will harm not just the university, but also the broader American academic landscape. Now, this move by the Trump administration is sending shockwaves far beyond the shores of the United States of America, threatening the future of thousands of international students. It delivers a significant financial and also a reputational blow to what is one of the most prestigious academic institutions in the world. Now, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has written to Harvard University stating that the existing foreign students will have to transfer themselves to other universities in order to maintain their F1 or J1 visa statuses. She also said that the existing foreign students will not be able to maintain their visa status with Harvard anymore. Meanwhile, Beijing, in its very sharp response, is accusing the United States of politicizing educational exchanges and is vowed to safeguard the rights and interests of the Chinese students and scholars studying in the United States.
China-U.S. educational cooperation is mutually beneficial, and China has always opposed the politicization of this cooperation. Such actions by the U.S. side will only damage its own image and international credibility. China will firmly safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of overseas Chinese students and scholars.
Now, Germany has also weighed in, warning that restrictions on academic freedom are tantamount to restrictions on democracy itself.
Free academia, of course, belongs to the core of liberal democratic societies and is an integral part of our liberal democratic basic order. The freedom of academia and international exchange are crucial foundations for scientific, social, and economic progress. Restrictions on academic freedom are restrictions of democracy itself.
The students from China in particular have reacted to the increasing tensions between the American universities and the Trump administration. Listen to what's been said.
The more optimistic friends of mine will see the midterm elections as a chance for change. As international students, we hope to have a relatively open and accommodating academic and political environment in the United States.
The US president is someone who creates problems where there were none. So I think this policy, like the tariffs, may ultimately be difficult to carry out.
So basically it's a mixture of like shock then to kind of just, devastation, like frustration, and then uncertainty, anxiety, it's a combination of all of those feelings, I would say, among students in the community right now.
At Harvard and in the United States are in a state of vulnerability, neglect, bullying, and oppression. It's true that many U.S. policies specifically target Chinese students and impose some restrictions on them, including stricter scrutiny or oppression due to ideological issues.
All right, now joining us on the broadcast to give us more updates in terms of what is happening with this entire controversy that has blown up in the United States, we have our correspondent Susan Terani, who's joining us live from New York. Now, Susan, this of course is a big moment, is it not? What is Donald Trump trying to accomplish by putting these restrictions on what is arguably the most famous university in the United States of America and indeed the whole world? What is Donald Trump trying to accomplish with this, and what does it do to America's soft power when international students are targeted in this manner?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, seeing Harvard University students scrambling to see whether or not they can stay in that university that they worked so hard into getting, with acceptance rates so low, being one of the major Ivy League universities here in the United States. And attracting many international students. I mean, while there are American students that go to Harvard, there are more international students that go to these Ivy League universities. One can argue Columbia here in New York as well. President Trump is doing this under the banner of why these universities are not addressing pro-Palestinian protests, their anti-Israeli sentiments across campuses, DEI programs that have excluded many Americans throughout the years. And he's saying that Harvard isn't taking proper action because of these. Hence, it needs to get these punishments in place. However, Harvard, as you mentioned, and as we're seeing in the headline, is pushing back. It not only sued the Trump administration previously from possibly holding federal funds, it's not yet clear whether or not Harvard would even have a case regarding that. But regarding this, to prevent international students that are here lawfully and legally to a private institution, this is going to be a tough pill to swallow. And it's hard to imagine that the Trump administration would be able to get away with something like this, even in the guise of, what's happening with anti-Semitic sentiment. Not that they're not there, but there are a lot of other international students from other countries who are attending that are not even politically active. So that's a very valid question that you're asking. Let's get some more information, but it's hard to imagine the administration can get away with something like this.
Absolutely. We'll have to see as to how this will be looked at in the courts. Thank you very much, Susan Tehrani, for joining us with those updates there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.